the next speech is going on to be as interesting as we are. Badrul H. Khan. He is currently founder and the president of McEwen.
Thank you so much. Annyeonghaseyo, and I love kimchi. I was here in 2000. I was giving a keynote for Cyber MBA, and I'm so glad to be back. Today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring you from the future to the real world with futurist Mr. Glenn's the futuristic view, which is I'm very much in support of. I'm going to bring you to a framework which is basically a very common sense making framework, and I call it Global Education Framework. And we have to prepare our workforce for the future. We just can't do the business the way we're doing or we have been doing. You know, the Web 2.0 technologies, blogs, virtual reality, wikis, Wikipedia, all these new innovative technologies coming to us, they should be considered as a blessing, but you need to know how to use them. But then comes to Web 3.0 technology, semantic webs. So as you go along into the technological innovations, you'll see new and newer technologies will come to you, and it's you whether you can use it or not. So you see, now that we have internet and education technology, the learners, the students, participants in your learning, they expect, they demand increased flexibility in their learning. They want to have saying what they want to learn, how they want to learn, where they want to learn, what they want to learn. Do you all follow me what I'm saying? Because you are in the world of customer satisfaction world. And this customers-oriented world, you have to satisfy the needs of your customer. When you're at the university, that's your students. When the corporate world is your employees. In my 2007 book, which I can, this in 2007 book, as you can see the model here, I have created a flexible learning model that should help us to meaningfully design learning opportunities, learning experiences for our participants, for our customers, for our learners. So today, within the scope of very limited time that we have, I will try to make it very clear to you how this model is started and how can you use it. Now, the model started, I was blessed with my first book, Web-Based Instruction, in 1997, which has been a bestseller, and people all over the world asking me the question, what does it make in web-based instruction? And I could not answer them. Since then, I've been thinking about what does it take to develop flexible web-based instruction. So I started thinking about sending one of my students to Amazon forest. And he or she will have only a laptop. Now, how can I design a meaningful learning environment for that student who is in Amazon forest, away from the libraries? That made me think about many, many issues. One of the issues, well, there are many issues, so I put all these issues together to create this octagonal framework. Pedagogy. Pedagogy means learning and teaching issues. Instructional design. Content design. So pedagogy, when you're teaching, you have to have pedagogical philosophy. How you feel, what's your philosophy in teaching, that becomes an important part of a design of instruction. Technological. How about the hardware, software, infrastructure? You are trying to offer an online course. Do you know how your students, your customers are connected to the internet. What is the infrastructure? What are the hardware and software they have to think about? What are you trying to do? You put the learner, your customer, at the center of the model and ask these questions. Interface design is a physical layout and the navigation of your online environment. I'm originally from Bangladesh, where thumbs up means I challenge you. But in the United States and the other Western world, it says, way to go, you did a good job. So for example, I have developed an online environment and I'm asking questions. If my student is in Bangladesh, he got the answer right, then the computer gives a thumbs up. That will make him upset because it means I challenge you. But if he was in the US and it was a thumbs up, way to go, you did good. You see? So interface design, kind of sign and symbol that you use as you're going global, you need to pay attention to this. For example, red color used as a danger color in Western culture. But the red is a very vibrating, animated, revolutionary color for China. So what you need to think about in your interface design, design of the screen, design of the learning environment, have to be very, very sensitive about, by the way, can you all follow me what I'm saying? I'm speaking too fast for you? Okay. So you need to be very sensitive about design of the interface, how you interface between human and the computer system, all the futuristic models of technology that Mr. Glenn mentioned. Next category, evaluation. If you're teaching face-to-face classes, you seem to only evaluate the instructor, the professor. But in online learning, in e-learning, in flexible learning, somebody becomes a subject matter expert. Someone else, instructional design the course. You can hire someone to teach the course. There are technical support involved, there are registration support involved, there are administrative support services involved. So you need to evaluate the comprehensive, all the stakeholders involved in the designing and offering these courses. I hope you are aware of that happens in online education. Management. You see, in the regular classroom, I would go and start lecturing. But in online environment, the course is designed with wikis, blogs, Second Life, which is virtual reality. You have so many different kind of Web 2 technologies. Who is going to maintain, update, so that the students are getting the most up-to-date information? So management of these Web 2 technologies, e-learning materials play a major role for whoever developing the online learning. Resource support. If you're offering a course online, if I offer a course online from the US, and anybody's taking from any parts of the world, from South Africa to Zimbabwe to Thailand to Canada, they will expect that we provide 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week, online technical support services for the students. Understand, these participants, they are taking your courses and they've almost forgotten that they're not taking a face-to-face classes with you. So they are dispersed, distributed all over the world. So they will demand just-in-time support. So you better be careful when you're designing online education. Ethical issues is a very major issue. Ethical consideration in e-learning. There are so many issues, ethical issues involved, plagiarism, learner diversity, geographical diversity, and I'll go into that more detail. So ethical issues is so important in online learning because the students are not with you. They are dispersed all over the world. They are global. They are cross-cultural. So what you need to do, you need to pay attention to who are your customers. Institutional. If you offer an online course, people on the other end who is taking the course will say, well, the course that I'm taking with this online program, is it as good as if I have taken the course face-to-face? So you have to develop your online learning experiences better than even your face-to-face classes. So there will be a quiz after my presentation. Can you all remember this is 8 dimension? It's a start from, by the way, my book, this one is in Korean languages, came in 2000. So it has, if you need the reference, I can provide you that. But remember that when you're designing futuristic, flexible e-learning, you put the learner at the center and keep asking the questions along these 8 dimensions. So that, and you ask those questions for your instructor, whether the instructor will be happy, or you ask this question for technical support. So more issues that you can think about and you can address them, better off you are. So this presentation will be available, it's in here, also in my website, so you can get to this. There are dimensions, there are sub-dimensions within the 8 dimensions. So within the scope of today's conversation, I'm going to give you some specific example for few dimensions. Pedagogical questions, content. Whatever you're trying to teach online, is it appropriate for the online teaching? See, if a medical professor, a surgeon teaching how to do surgery, I think he or she can perform a surgery and we can use the video devices to show the rest of the world how it's performing the surgery for the demonstration purposes only. But if you are a medical student, you want to have an hands-on experience. You have to test the blood, talk to the patients, then you do surgery. So can you use online for that? No. So for the demonstration purposes only, you can show how a procedurally surgery can perform. So one thing you have to think about, e-learning cannot be completely done on all different kinds of subjects. You need to think about what part of the content that you're teaching can be, delivered by an online, and what part of the content that you're teaching needs hands-on human interaction. So it becomes blended e-learning. This is important for you to remember. For example, there are 2 types of content. Some contents are stable, never changes. Some contents are dynamic. I have a dream speech by Martin Luther King is a stable content. It's never going to change. So would you put that online? I don't think so, because it's going to bottleneck the bandwidth. So you rather put on a CD or other methods, because it's never going to change. Dynamic content, so historical events are a stable content, never changes. You can put on a CD or other format. But dynamic content, which are like a policy, U.S. policy on foreign, by the way, our new President Obama, there are so many changes, hopefully it will happen. So the policy level, there are so many changes. If someone teaching a course in IR, international relations, the policy will change. So that's a dynamic content, and online is good for it. If you change it, it changes all over the places. So you also save money by doing the content analysis of what content is dynamic, what content is stable. So stable content, you can use an alternative method like a book, printed material, CD-ROM, things like that. Now the design of your learning. In many places, I know, I was growing up in Bangladesh, where when professor comes to the podium, students stand up as an honor. So this is also when the professor talks, professor is more like a didactic. Like a professor is the one, is the sage on the stage, knows everything, and the students listen. That is one model. It's called didactic. Another model is the facilitative. Professor comes, develops nice resources, and stay on the side and facilitated learning. So if you are designing online education, your pedagogical philosophy will be important. So many cases, yeah, sometimes you could be didactic. You know it, students should learn. But sometimes you can be facilitative. You say, I'm going to stay on the side, the student will do the collaborative learning, cooperative learning.